What is up, BattleBots fans? Hardcore Kid here with another edition of the Hardcore Podcast. And today, we're going all around the world to show you some of the most deadliest fighting robots around. And joining me on this quest, I have Otaku Nate.
All around the world, you gotta spread the word. Tell what you heard. Whatever the fuck that Oasis song is.
And, to be honest, I would have gone for Electric Light Orchestra.
And of course, making his big return, somehow managing to survive the apocalypse, we have Alexthehunted.
Damage is all that matters.
You had to go there.
Damage control. So yeah, here's the story behind this particular episode. They're taking a page out of Robot Wars' handbook with the UK versus the world episode, except this time.
But this time they're not just going to give them a bunch of loner bots. They're actually just teams that showed up.
They unlike the UK the Robot Wars series, which was basically a bunch of UK bots versus a bunch of shitty loner bots that the Roboteers themselves didn't build. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 really top tier robots competing in tonight's episode.
And Kraken.
And hey, Kraken was actually okay this episode.
I kid.
Yeah, we got 5 robots from the US. We have 2 from the UK. 1 that's kind of sorta from Canada. 1 from the Netherlands, and 1 from New Zealand. I almost said Australia there, but I would have said Oceania. I would have said Oceania.
You can't even say that.
Okay, aluminum. Yeah, but yes, but I thought this was a fun. I thought this was a fun episode.
Oh, without question, it was a great episode from start to finish.
Although there is a little bit of controversy coming out of this episode, but we'll get right into that.
I'm not.
Well, no, there's no controversy. It's just the damage is all what matters group just crying again.
Yeah, well, I think we should start with this first match, and it features the Northeast Robotics Club's very own Blacksmith taking on, my god, it's Razor Warhead. And I'll say this right now, this is the best Blacksmith performance I've seen yet.
Oh yeah, without
This was the best fight of the night. This is one of the best fights of the season.
Oh, I think so, yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, Blacksmith was just landing all kinds of hits in with the hammer. Warhead,
it was very much like if the UK fought the US. The US, a lot of shouting and screaming, a lot of action, but with not a lot of shouting, screaming, a lot of movement, but not a lot of action. And the British just being subtle, dignified, and getting the job done.
Exactly. But
that's debatable.
But here's where the little bit of this fight is up for fight court, as Mr. Psycho holds up and has on his channel. So basically, what the match was, Blacksmith was whacking, getting all kinds of hits in with the hammer, burning up Warhead's armor and whatnot, getting hits on the Steiner head. Disabled the flamethrower, doing everything. Warhead was able to get the wedge in and push Blacksmith around a bit, but honestly, it was basically like if you're holding up a spoiled. What was the name of that midget that was on the All In show?
Marco Stunt.
He's this 22-year-old, like 4'9" wrestler who he is. Sometimes he's in the clutches of some other wrestler, but he somehow manages to find a way to fight out of it and just whack him punch him in the head and whatnot. That was Blacksmith in this.
But what I will say is that Warhead ground Blacksmith down throughout the fight, because at the end of the fight, Blacksmith's hammer wasn't working. It was barely able to move.
Yeah, magic smoke.
Yeah, but it's tricky, but it was definitely a close decision, and it was actually a split decision, but it went in favor of Warhead. And
I disagree with.
I disagree with this decision too.
Blacksmith did most of the work.
Yes, like Warhead did like on aggression. Maybe Warhead got a bit more, but Blacksmith I think was definitely causing a lot more problems.
But I think considering the other two categories, control and strategy, Warhead was better than Blacksmith at that one, because Blacksmith couldn't really do much to Warhead because Warhead was constantly going at it. Like, they never really got a good chance to line up a good hit.
Well,
like most of their attack, they were, but that was mostly because of Warhead attacking it.
Yeah, it's definitely, it really could have gone either way.
And the damage doesn't matter. Crowd can't have it argue because that wasn't really any damage done.
Well,
it was
it disabled Razor's flamethrower. Oh, excuse me, primary weapon.
Yep, and it's tricky, and I finally figured it out. I finally understand why Warhead was given the decision. Cherub.
Ha.
Yes.
But there were no kids on that team.
Oh, come on. We know Ian Lewis is a kid at heart. You know, he goes crazy during these matches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
it's a good testament to Warhead though, because considering how old Warhead is, it was I would have think that much, because much more newer robots like Hypershock, they burnt up from getting shot with that much flamethrower, and Warhead was just took all the flames and didn't really get affected that much by it. Like it was like a good solid 30 seconds on where the Blacksmith was just roasting the internals of Warhead, and it just didn't do anything to it.
Warhead stood its ground.
Yeah.
I do wonder if they went in with the TRX head because they couldn't get the blade.
The blade is gone.
The blade is pretty much
it's gone.
foobar.
Completely broken. And that they even had a memorial for it in the last episode.
Yeah.
Speaking of the last episode, we almost forgot about the bonus match, but there is a good reason to, because guess what? It was a squash.
Yeah,
Mecha Rampage versus Tantrum. Mecha Rampage got some hits in, and that was it. So, bye-bye. Bonus segment done.
Mm-hmm. Oh, poor Tantrum.
As I said, I love that.
It hasn't had that much showing this season as well, and it's not it doesn't seem fair to it because it's a fun little bot.
Yeah.
It wouldn't look out of place on Robot Wars.
It kind of reminds me of Deitor a little bit.
It wouldn't do very well on Robot Wars.
No,
yeah, I agree.
Not these days, anyway. Speaking of Robot Wars, that leads us to our second match: Captain Shredderator versus Vanquish, who is finally put back together.
Vanquish, Rust, R.I.P., Rust in pieces. DYWP, do you wanna bet?
Yeah, so
also surrounded by googly eyes. This is like
yes,
ICU
the ultimate weapon of mass destruction is the googly eyes.
Those googly eyes held up surprisingly well.
Yeah,
Vanquish held up surprisingly well.
Oh
for the most part.
So it was just one lucky hit on the side that took it out.
Well, no, one lucky hit overhead.
Yeah. So here's the story behind this match. Brian Nave, after spending the last few weeks in China, finally made his return to the BattleBots. And when he found out that his robot was 0-3, he got very mad at Nicholas and grounded him for the rest of the month. But no,
you're grounded from driving. But Dad.
Yeah, but also Brian Nave has actually competed on Robot Wars, and he got very mad at the Ming 3 Rick decision, considering that Ming 3 and Rick were immobilized at the end of that match, but they decided to give it to the UK because LOL Killalot interfered, and it's like, yeah. There's an entire paragraph that Brian posted in the comments section of the Ming 3 Rick match, and will you stop changing pages on the Facebook page? You make me angry.
Cut that out.
Oh no. Yeah. But
leave it in.
Oh no, I'm leaving it in.
Unless I say the N-word, then you have to cut it out.
Say Wyger. No, I'm just kidding. But Brian Nave, he came back. He going up against another UK bot in Vanquish, and Captain Shredderator now has a new body shell. It looks exactly like Revolutionist.
I think wasn't that the body shell they used in the fight? Because I think they used it in their second fight, that body shell, because the first fight against Endgame it got ripped up.
I think so.
It looked like it, though the teeth were arranged differently.
Maybe they just brought a load of shells to this event.
I think they do. When I go to Battle Beach, I'll see because I think they'll have all the shells on display, but I'll have to see it. But yeah, this was your classic wedge versus big spinner match, and it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
This is my complaint about the primary weapon rule, but especially about the aggression rule. That apparently aggression can only be caused by the damage. Vanquish only has a lifting scoop. How the hell is that supposed to be aggressive? That's why I really don't like the primary weapon aggression rule, because it massively favors spinners.
Yeah, it's like with Robot Wars, everyone just keeps trying to find a way to change the rules. Like, oh, damage carries more weight. No, aggression carries more weight. Oh, your weapon stopped working, therefore you automatically lose. No, your weapon, you still win because you were more aggressive. I don't get these rules. It's like they always try to find ways of changing them.
But I don't like. I mean, I agree with an active weapon rule because it basically, especially in BattleBots, because we know just pure wedges in BattleBots became a problem. But saying that you can only get damage points and aggression points by using your weapon puts certain types of bots at a huge disadvantage.
Yeah. Not that it really helped, because Vanquish ended up getting retired permanently. The googly eyes did not help them in this case.
But hey, at least
it did better than it did against Icewave.
At least it came out. At least it didn't go back to the pits in a bin bag.
No. And because I know poor Jack Tweedy, he spent like the entire week trying to put that thing back together, and he was sick, and that's why he had his handy dandy Tim from Concussion with him.
Yes. Tim,
I wanted to borrow the robot, not the team member.
and he hit, and of course this is perhaps the single greatest team intro aside from Charles Guan and his team doing the Haruhi Suzumiya poses. Tweety takes one of the pool noodles off of Vanquish and starts whacking Tim over the head with it, and Tim just no-sells it
like punching Judy.
Oh, it was awesome. You know what the second most deadliest. Most deadliest weapon is? The pool noodle.
Yeah.
Next to the banana for scale.
Yeah.
Well, if Jack Tweedy wants to make another push bot for next season, he could always make a heavyweight Mad Rush.
Okay. There is a guy, Phil Costanzo. He's of Team Cerberus. He has a platform bot, sumo bot, called the Pool Noodle Massacre, and the weapon, like usually he has a big machete sword because he's a big fan of Friday the 13th. He calls it F-13, but since the robot events in Dragon Con he's at right now doesn't allow those big ass blades, he put a pool noodle on it instead. It's really funny, but yeah. Yeah, this was as far as the match goes. It was, Vanquish was the most aggressive. It was slamming into Shredderator and knocking it around. But Shredderator was able to get hits in on Vanquish, and once it went over the top and took out Vanquish's wheel, that was it for them.
It's the really big issue with Shredderator that they still haven't fixed for some reason, is that they have no idea which way it's pointing when they drive it.
Like, the only time, like, if you're right above the shell, you can see, like, the chassis underneath, that's, like, the only time you can actually see which way you're going.
It doesn't have, like, a pole or a compass or whatever.
Yeah, like, they really, Zach O'Donnell, who was actually on the team with Captain Shredderator back in 2015 season. He's built Trigo that has the self-righting directional bar on top. He should have tried to get Brian to do something like that, but, I don't know. But regardless, Shredderator managed to get the win, so Brian Nave finally gets his independence back from the British, and it's now 1-1.
And now I think this next match, everyone thought it would go Red Devil's way.
Yeah, I did too.
Me too.
It was a battle of the big grabby things. U.S.'s owned Kraken versus Red Devil, who Ravi Babalal?
Yeah,
he's originally from Canada, and obviously the robot itself is from East Provo, Utah. But,
I have to ask,
he was representing the rest of the world here.
Why couldn't they just get Lucky?
Because Lucky was destroyed. It was in pieces. So this was the next thing they could do. Mm-hmm. But
I think it was because I think people pretty much this event was, hey, do you want to take part? Sure.
God damn! I wish I was one of those people.
And well, Kraken, as I said, it's a very unique. It may be up for most. It probably will get most original entries simply because it's a crusher that uses a mechanism we've never seen before. Like
and BattleBots isn't very good at originality.
Well,
apart from Huge.
Huge.
And Kraken.
Yeah.
And Red Devil.
Sure. Red Devil might have been best designer like it did last time, but But yeah, I had Red Devil winning
Me
this.
too.
Yeah, because
I think everyone did.
Kraken's been having teething troubles in that sense of the word.
This is a classic case of don't underestimate a joke-looking robot.
Because Kraken, once it got its jowls around one of Red Devil's treads, it bit down and never let go.
Yeah, and it actually broke the track.
And it's also bad strategy on Red Devil's part because they should have done what they did with the Monsoon fight, where they put the tracks all the way to the back,
That could
and then have all the weapons. Yeah, because that's the part, because with the tracks right forward, Kraken could just get right under them. But if they had the tracks at the back, tipped all the way back, they had to go into the weapon. So.
But then wouldn't Kraken have been able to get to the back?
Well, no, because Red Devil could have turned around. But you know what I mean? Like the tracks were more easier to get at in that configuration than it was in, let's say, like the Monsoon configuration.
That is a very unusual design, and you can only imagine how difficult it is to control this thing, because you got one stick controls both the treads, then you got to control the jaws, you got to control the saw. I
thought the weapon system was controlled by someone else.
I think it is.
I think so.
Because I know the wheels. It's wacky. It's like it's one big puzzle piece, like all just trying to being all controlled together. It's really cool though.
It's like a pair of pants.
A pair of pants.
I do see Red Devil probably being retired. Well, this version of Red Devil being retired after this season.
I think they can keep it going, and they just have to fix the tread.
I think it's more as in like they'll build a new Red Devil
knowing Jerome Miles, he'll give us something completely different. Gnome 3, make it happen.
Yes, Gnome 3.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but Kraken managed.
Nomeo 3.
Oh.
I watched Romeo and Juliet on TV last night. I wish I didn't.
Ugh.
Did you watch Sherlock's Gnome?
No.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, but Kraken ended up getting the win on a judge's decision after taking out Red Devil's track, and I'm really happy for him. It's about time they finally got a win.
But Red Devil was driving more, and its weapon was more damaging. It should have won.
They were driving more. Are you sure?
I'm just being how I see those people who just claim that damage is all that matters.
So now we move on to Hypershock from the U.S.
match of the night.
Oh God, and
most frustrating match.
It is, and I you know what this is? I think it's a curse because a couple matches ago, Reality was winning on Duck, but then they broke down for no reason, and here you have Hypershock who was winning on Reality, and then they break down for no reason.
I think it's more of a case of Hypershock has just been a glass cannon all season.
Yeah,
it's frustrating.
You can tell that this was a rush build for them.
No rake either.
You can see. I mean, you can clearly see as well because when it drives, like the disc is so heavy, it just leans forward.
Yeah, and you can hear sparks flying on the ground. It's a mess.
Reality. It seems like they're having trouble with the drive motors. The disc is running fine. The disc hasn't broken all season.
It broke here.
This match.
Yeah.
It did. But it seems like they're having serious trouble with the drive motors.
I think it might be a case of they've made the classic error of it's too close. It's built too close to the floor. Because it is very flush to the floor. But it's more. But then again, because I actually had Reality to win this easy because I thought Hypershock was going to be a glass cannon.
Yeah.
And it was, but Hypershock was completely winning this fight.
And then it burnt itself out as they do.
Yeah, it was frustrating. I will say this though. In a way it kind of works because going into the final match, because if Hypershock had, I think it adds a bit more tension, because going into the final match it's a tie. If Hypershock had won the match, it would have been 3-1.
Oh, by the way,
unless they decided to do what Robot Wars did and have give the rest of the world team a chance by making the last match 2 or 3 points or something like that.
Yeah, they didn't do that considering how back and forth everything was,
and considering it wasn't grossly in favor of the home side.
I'll say also this match has our Farouk moment of the night when he did the robot.
That was the Sawblaze one, right?
I thought
No.
that was Hypershock, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Farouk was on fire this episode.
his intros were great.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, his Red Devil one was funny. I think which one was the one where he went boo, where he said boo? Like,
Yeah. His Vanquish one was incredibly short, though. It was like, here's Vanquish. Basically.
He cuts right to the chase. He's been getting a lot more professional as the series has gone on. Because, like, there's only so many puns and pop culture references you can make.
Yeah, considering how many fights he's got to do this for.
Yeah. Like,
He's
what, 500?
He's a trooper.
Like, how many? Let's say there's 5 nights, or 5 fights, or 6 fights.
6
a night.
times 20. That's like 130 matches.
120.
More, at least around there.
You're as good as math.
And that's not considering considering the untelevised matches as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's we love him. You like we were upset because we didn't get Roy, who does the Motorama matches, but Farouk has just proved himself.
Mm-hmm.
He is great.
I know some people prefer Mark Biro for his professionalism, but Farouk is just such a good hype man. Like, he sells it.
Yeah.
And then we get to the main event, and I'm going to say this. I agree with the judge's decision.
I agree with it too, and here's the thing.
Yeah. But damage.
So the main event is Sawblaze versus Endgame. It's Jameson Go versus Jack Barker. And it's up to JMO to give the win back to the US after years and years of pain and misery over in the Robot Wars side. And now, here's what I think going in. Like, it was a very close match, and I see why a lot of people are upset, because from a damage standpoint, Endgame definitely did more damage. But here's the thing. Endgame was virtually dead the second half of the match.
Yeah, it looked like they were having radio issues.
Like,
apparently, it actually lost drive. They lost the chain on one side.
I saw
the
a chain
chain.
laying on the ground right towards.
I thought it was
end.
Sawblazes, but no.
No, it was definitely Endgame. And
everyone was saying that Sawblaze was pinning Endgame to the wall for more than 30 seconds and didn't give him a 5-second break.
No.
But Endgame couldn't do anything because it couldn't drive properly.
Yeah. Plus, if this was Robot Wars, it would probably have been counted out regardless.
Yeah. Or they would have had both robots just go in circles for 3 minutes.
Oh, God. Please, no, not that again. But yeah, I definitely would have given it to Sawblaze, because even though Endgame was able to break the middle fork, so Sawblaze was basically, when the saw came down, it was going right into its own fork. But Sawblaze, like JMO is hands down like one of the best drivers this show has. And
I just keep thinking he needs a wheelie bar for the back of it.
It does. It has a little caster on the back of the saw.
But what I mean is, like, when it drives forward, when the saw is up, it wheelies, and that's what kept on failing it against Bronco.
So, I don't know, because maybe if it does that, it might get stuck, and we don't want to get.
We don't want a Gemini situation.
No,
Ooh.
Please no.
Either Gemini.
Yes. But yeah, like the second half. Even though Endgame was getting hits in. That was pretty much on Sawblaze's own accord, because it was just driving into the disc. It's basically like it's the equivalent of trying to pin a guy who has like you're wrestling a guy who's wearing Road Warrior Animals gear with the spike sticking out of it, and it's doing damage. But
it keeps on reminding me of the Ice Wave versus Scorpios match, because again, like you can only score aggression points for your weapon. Ice Wave wasn't getting a chance to get up to speed, but it was still hitting Scorpios. That wasn't aggressive. But that's why I think aggressive driving should also be considered, which I think they are starting to do that. So I don't know.
But the end game of the situation is Endgame was almost completely immobilized. Sawblaze was controlling them throughout the second half of the match. So the victory goes to Sawblaze, and the victory goes to the USA at last. USA.
I would have been so happy if actually it was the rest of the world wins, because the Twitter storm that would have caused. Because then there would be the opposite of happening, saying like, why did Endgame win? It was clearly immobilized.
Yes. If
They were damned
Sawblaze
if
if
they-
Sawblaze got the win, we're mad now.
If Sawblaze wins, we riot.
If Endgame wins, we riot. Yeah, but
Yeah.
But
It was been un-American for not letting the Americans win.
considering how much insanity the U.S. is going through right now, yeah. But
I can't wait for when Donald Trump appears on the Science Channel.
Yeah, they're not gonna showcase
Oh.
James Davies.
oh boy. But with all that aside, I thought this was a fun episode. And
Is next week going to be the last of the actual straightforward
I
fight
think
card
it is
episodes?
because this was episode 15. Episode 16 is, I guess, going to be the last, and then 17, 18, 19, 20.
Because I know,
matches.
I think 17 is going to be the other wild card event. Which, if you don't know what it is,
I think I don't know the whole story yet, but
think how they pick. I won't think how they pick the Series 10 wild card.
yeah,
So it's gonna be like a big
battle
run.
royal.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's basically going to be like the teams that didn't. If basically the teams who want to go into a rumble, and it's a. I don't know how many bots enter, but only one can win.
I heard
If it's all the ones that are still somehow alive, that's gonna be amazing.
Miles Pacala said it was gonna be like a 5 robot rumble.
Put them all in. Throw them all in there. I want a 40 robot rumble.
Oh God, can you imagine the nightmare?
Proves that the Robot Wars arena is safer because they can do 10. So screw you.
Yeah.
No, it's clearly not safer.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
My what was my idea? I would love to see like as a filler match for like the final, like they do a big 8-way for the robots that didn't do very well, like Battle Royale with Cheese, Hypershock, Bombshell, Double Jeopardy, etc.
If those robots are still drivable, because I don't think Battle Royale is going to be fixed.
No, Miles said that they fixed. They
Oh,
got
they
the
did?
whole- yeah, they fixed it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I wasn't in that episode. So. Yeah, but
Yeah, it's just the problem. It's just the problem that they're having with it. I think is it the speed controls that kept letting them down.
But you know what? Yeah, this was a filler episode, but you know what? It was good filler. It had some good matches, and it had
It's
people
weird that
talking.
they did it's weird that they did the filler special in basically the latter end of the series. and
Yeah.
not, like a bit like if Robot Wars did the World Series in just after Heat C.
Oh God, oh.
Yeah, kind of weird, but on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it an 8.
I'll give it an 8 too.
I'll give it a 7 because that's the thing. It was good, but there were 2 really good fights, but there's some of them which I thought were a bit lacking. Like, I mean, yes, the Vanquish Shredderator fight was okay, but it wasn't like a destruction fest or anything like that.
No. Yeah, but that pretty much covers this. This was a cool little episode. Good way to get some of the other robots to show off what they can do. There's no bonus segment. They do have a bonus segment, which is robots around the world, which I guess they're going to show maybe footage from like the Brazil event or maybe the event.
I'd be
in
amazed
Australia.
if they show Robot Wars.
Oh, that would be incredible.
Oh,
Well,
God.
Since they have the robot,
they
since they have
might
the Robot
because
Wars,
they're
yeah.
they're both in the Science Channel now.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm done.
And
I'm
here's
done
the
with it on
UK's
Science
competition, Robot War. Oh, it's got cancelled.
Channel. Yeah.
Ha
Yeah. But yeah, that pretty much
Bring back Robot Wars.
yeah that covers this episode. Whew, this is the second podcast we've done today. We've been here for 3 hours talking about
Apollo
both
can
wrestling.
beat Bronco.
What?
I think it can. It's got more.
I did a post in BattleBots saying I think Apollo could beat Bronco, and all the BattleBots fanboys went, "No!"
Nah, would you agree with that, Brandon?
We'll have to see if it can happen. But yeah,
I definitely, if it was Series 8 and 9 Apollo, then I would give it to Bronco. But Series 10 Apollo, I think, could beat Bronco.
maybe. Yeah, well, I'm tired now. We just came back from Chicago. We're hungry.
I'm keeping you up.
Exhausted. Alex spent this entire afternoon in rush hour traffic trying to find his house keys. Yeah. What a day, huh? So, well,
I hate Mondays.
we all do. But until next time, we're going to continue doing. We're approaching the end of the BattleBots season, and then after that, we'll be doing Extreme Warrior Season 2. And, well, that should be fun too. And BattleBots too. Yes, we can't forget that as well. Until next time, I'm the Hardcore Kid.
I'm Otaku Nate.
I'm Alexthehunted, and I've nearly got as many subscribers as you.
Yoo-hoo! Let's have a subscriber off. Peace out and cheers.
Hold your fire until you see the whites of their eyes.
Oh!